Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm standing outside. It's cold and it's raining. But today we are at a fish room. We're doing a fish room tour. This fish room belongs to Phil. He's also known as the Bristlenose dude local. He has tons and tons of Bristlenose Plecos. He also has a bunch of other cichlids and a bunch of other live bears. So we are going to show you guys everything that's going on in here. Probably going to end up breaking this up into probably 3 different videos because I want to show you guys the mechanics of how he's doing everything, and then I want to go tank by tank so you guys can see exactly what he has. And that is a stiff breeze that is extremely cold. Yes, in Texas it does get cold. All right, so stay tuned. We are about to make our way inside so you guys can see exactly what is going on. Okay, here we are at Phil's fish room. So we're going to go around first of all, and we are going to kind of understand the mechanics of how he's doing things. So first thing is, let's talk about the shelving that you use. Tell me a little bit about the shelving.
All the shelving I build is built out of 2x4s. Very simple boxes and legs is all it is. So build yourself a big triangle and put the legs on the inside, outside. Some of it's dadoed in. If you look right here, you actually got a 1x4 holding a 30-gallon aquarium, but all the weight is up against these legs, and that's more than enough to hold that steady. So cheap and inexpensive, doesn't need to be fancy. Some of these are 20 years old and have no issues. I do like to stain them and finish them so that they look somewhat nice, but other than that, simple, cheap, and easy to build. You can do it with a circular saw, don't have to have any fancy tools.
Are you using nails or are you using screws?
I always use screws on everything.
Do you feel like the way that you've built them, they're kind of over-engineered to be able to hold a whole lot more than the weight that you're actually putting on them?
Probably so, and a lot of people I see use 4x4s and way overbuild them. I say these are many years old. If you see right here, I've literally got a 6-foot span. I'd like to have a leg in the middle of that, which I did back here in the back on the back rack that's got 3 20s going across. That gives me a little more support, makes me feel a little bit better so that I don't get a lot of stress and a lot of bowing on that span.
All right, let's talk about your tanks. Approximately what size tanks and about how many do you think you have?
I have 15 gallons to 110 gallons. The total is 53, and there's 1,600 gallons. They're all, some of them are 20 years, 30 years old probably. Some of them I bought brand new. I've acquired them here, yonder, and everywhere. Just as I've acquired them over time, this is what I wound up with.
Do you have any that came from the $1 a gallon Petco sale?
Absolutely. The rack right behind you was built 2 years ago this month. There was a 200-gallon tank that sat here. I sold it and all the fish in it and replaced it with these 920 longs.
All right, let's talk about filtration now. Are your tanks drilled?
Everything is water changed, manually done. No tanks are drilled. Everything runs off sponge filters, and I do use some external power filters, mostly hot magnums, which unfortunately our friends at Marineland quit making, and I do have a few aqua clears. Don't have them on every tank, but I move the hot magnums around as needed. I mainly use those for particulate. All my bio is in the sponges and in the gravel.
Is there a particular reason that you have sponges in some and filters in others?
Well, I had seen that on Select Aquatics webpage. A guy named Greg Sage runs up in Colorado, and he used those. I acquired a few of them and do use them, but I prefer the sponges. They're easier to clean and take care of.
What about what's producing the air for all the tanks?
I have a central air pump from Jimco, linear piston. It's plumbed throughout the room, and just drop lines for each tank is required. That one pump runs the whole entire room.
So all the PVC piping that we see all through the top, that's all air?
Yeah, that's strictly air.
About what size LPH is that? Do you remember?
I think it's his 80.
Okay.
It's LPH 80. I still have a 60 that I replaced this with. I keep it as a backup.
Was it a linear piston also, or one of the loud ones?
No, it's just like this, just the size down from it.
And so water changes, you're manually sucking the gravel out of each, or sucking the waste out of the gravel?
Yeah, I do gravel wash on all the tanks. I try to do it every week. Sometimes I'm not as good at it as I'd like to be, but you know, this hobby is all about maintenance, so the better you take care of your water, the better your fish are going to be, and the more successful you're going to be.
Now, are you pre-making your water in some big container?
No, it comes straight out of the tap and straight into the tank. As I put dechlorinator in there, I use Fritz ACCR powder, and that's how it goes right in the tank as the water's going in the tank.
So on the air on each one of these, what are these valves? I haven't seen this actual type. Are these ones from Gemco?
Yeah, these are from Gemco or maybe from Ken's, and it threads in there just like the others do, and it has a lever on there that you can control the volume. Some are done with a knob. These are controlled with a lever. Cost $1 something a piece, but give you good control on your air volume.
What about your lighting?
Most of it's all LED. There are still some fluorescents. I don't really have many hoods. I do have a few left that I'm replacing. Everything's going to LED as these other lights wear out. This light on these tanks here is a 4-foot strip light LED with an actual switch on it. You can buy those at Home Depot for $20. If you don't like looking at the light, you can buy a piece of rain gutter and 2 caps, paint it whatever color you want, set it on top of it, and you're good to go.
So you have glass tops on all the aquariums?
Yes, glass tops on everything, but they always remain open because it would take me too long to open and close them at feeding time.
Those glass tops are expensive.
Well, the guy across the street happens to own a glass shop, so I get a pretty good deal on them, and that's what I want, and that's what I use.
Oh, so these are ones you've actually bought that are pre-made. These are ones that you actually had constructed.
The 20 longs on the back wall, the glass tops cost me, for both pieces total, cost me $10 each.
Oh, well, that's not bad at all.
No, I can't buy them online for that kind of price.
So some of these you have, are these sliding here, or are these?
No, they just raise up.
Oh, they just raise up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just pick them up and just slide them back over the light when I need to get in the tank.
Okay. What about, so this is actually a 3rd-car garage?
Yes, this is one bay of a 3-car garage.
And how is the garage door insulated so that you don't lose cool and heat?
It has some panels that I put in the door. I fix the door where it seals tight, and I really don't have a ton of problem with it. It stays pretty warm in here. I've insulated the ceiling and the wall between the 2 garages. I imagine the outside wall is probably not insulated, but I really don't have any terrible issues with it.
Is this wall over here, is this the wall to the house, or the house?
That's an exterior wall.
That's an exterior wall.
And I doubt it's insulated.
And then this wall goes to the other 2 garages?
Yeah, it goes to the main garage.
Okay, so this one's probably not insulated?
No, it is insulated.
Oh, that one is insulated?
Because I built that wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I had insulation blown in the ceiling.
Oh, it was a 3-car garage, but it was 3 open bays.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I built that wall and walled this off. And a friend of mine's an electrician. We came in here and we dropped some GFI plugs in, and we ran some more service over here and put some more breakers in the box, so I wouldn't be tripping breakers and starting fires, etc.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem, is I only have 2 breakers into mine. How many breakers do you have coming into this room?
I have 4.
4?
Yeah.
Like 4 15 amps?
Yeah, probably 20 amp, I believe.
Oh, then you got plenty of power to spare then.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with electricity.
So as far as how you are air conditioning / heating the room,
I use the dehumidifier that's sitting right here on the floor for my heat in the winter. Since the room's closed up, that pulls a ton of the moisture out of the air, but it also generates heat, which keeps this room at about 74. In the summertime, I crack the door in the single bay here about 6 inches to a foot and open the door into the garage, and I just go ambient in here. And summertime, my tanks in here run 74 or so in the winter, and in the summertime I'll run up 80, sometimes 84, and I have gotten higher than that when we had some super long hot spells. But the fish quit spawning, but I haven't had any health issues or losses from any excess heat, and I've been in here for 12 and a half years.
So in a sense, the fish basically in here are getting to experience seasons, and it sort of.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they rise and fall with the seasons. Summertime is much more difficult than wintertime, actually, on heat and stress on the fish.
So this appears to be the only tank that I've seen that has any plants. You're typically not doing too many plants.
No, I do not. There's one behind you. I've got a couple of Anubius that I've gotten at swap meets, etc. Just to tinker with, and they look pretty scraggly, but I've left them in there, and the fish like messing with them, and everything's been fine with them. With what I do, planted tanks just don't really work.
And why is that? Cichlids?
Yeah, with cichlids, number one, cleaning the gravel and always having to get in there and keep things clean. Most of my tanks are heavily stocked, so they take some maintenance. And you've got to get in here and vacuum this gravel, and it's amazing in a week's time how much crud can come out of that gravel. So planted tanks just really wouldn't work with what I do.
Especially with the Plecostomus making the mess that they always make.
Yeah, they can make a mess in a tank too.
What about the type of foods that you're using to feed your tanks?
I feed all the fry a mix of decapsulated brine shrimp and golden pearls in the 200 to 300 micron range, and then they eat some crushed pellets, or crushed flake. I mean, everybody else eats New Life Spectrum, Skeetering, North Fin pellets. I do feed green beans. The little guys get the French cut, the big guys get the whole uncut green beans, and everybody pretty much eats the same thing. The whole room. I don't have any special stuff that I do. Everybody eats the same thing, gets fed at least twice a day. So with heavily stocked tanks, they are heavily fed, so it does require me to do maintenance.
With so many plecos, how many cans of green beans do you think you go through?
Every feeding is 2 cans, one of each, of the regular number 10 cans.
One of French and one of...
Yeah, one of each can, yeah.
Now, do you feed any type of live food, brine shrimp, or anything like that?
I have some bloodworms and some frozen brine in the freezer. I don't feed it very often. Sometimes I feed it to the Synodontis petricola if I'm trying to condition them, but I don't feed it as often as I probably should.
Any plans for any type of expansion or more tanks? Looks like you're about full.
No, I have all I can take care of.
This part of your plan of retirement?
Yes, I'm going to hope to retire in about 2.5 years, and I hope to get a Facebook page up and maybe work with Aquabid or something, and maybe do some shipping right now with a regular job, but I just don't have time to deal with it.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure and leave a comment down below if you got any questions for Phil that you would like him to answer. I'll be sure and get those answers for you. I thank each and every one of you for the time that you spend on the channel. I love every single one of you. So thanks again, guys, and God bless.